Chapter 25. Robo glared at the lone human figure before him. Painful pangs of memory flooded his mind. He saw Jan, Jimmy. He felt the gun blast shear off the backside of his skull. He heard the cruel laughter in the warehouse. He remembered the blackness, the darkness during his countless operations. He saw Anne Lewis's pale white face cradled in his hands. He gripped his gun tightly, aware of the presence of steel where there had once been flesh. He didn't seem to mind that now. He felt anger, rage. This was the man who was responsible for his tremendous loss. The images faded away. Boudica remained fixed in place as Robo slowly advanced towards him. Boudica grinned, the smile of a madman whose back was against a wall. He removed the last grenade from his flak jacket. He slowly pulled out the pin. Robo continued to march forward. In a smooth, feline movement, Clarence hurled the grenade overhand at the advancing cyborg. Robo drew his gun and fired, hitting the grenade mid-arc. The force of the explosion knocked Clarence off his feet. He landed on his back, skidding across the rain-slicked floor of the plant. Boudica scrambled backward across the floor. Robo walked towards him. Robo smiled at the cringing human, spinning his gun and sliding it effortlessly back into his holster. He wouldn't need it now. Clarence backed up against a wall. He looked this way and that. There was no way out of this one. He relaxed. Well, no sweat. He smiled at Robo. Okay. I give up, okay? Does that make you happy? Robo continued to move towards the man. I said I give up, man, Clarence babbled. Come on, take me in. Read me my rights. Robo bent down over the man. Come on, do your riff. I have the right to remain silent. That's shit. Robo wrapped a steel hand around Boudica's neck and slowly, methodically lifted him up against the wall. Okay, you proved your point. You're a super cop, all right? I realize that. Now do your duty. Take me in. Robo shook his head back and forth. I'm not going to arrest you anymore, Mr. Boudica. Robo slowly cocked his left fist back. Clarence's eyes widened. He saw the blow coming. Robo slammed his steel fist into Clarence's face. The fist emerged on the other side of the wall, drops of dribbling crimson liquid reflecting in the moonlight off the clenched knuckles. Robo pulled his fist back through the wall. He let Boudica's headless body slide to the ground. Robo turned and walked over to Lewis. She looked very small, lying there on the ground. A puddle of her own blood surrounded her. Robo slung a cobra over his shoulder and gently lifted Lewis, cradling her in his arms. He gazed down upon her. For a brief instant, she was every woman he had ever cared about. He walked outside the plant. The sun was rising. There were no longer sirens blaring in the distance. The sky seemed remarkably blue for some reason. Lewis coughed. Robo stared tenderly into her eyes. "Good morning," he whispered. Lewis smiled. "Hey, Murphy. I'm really a wreck. Reed's going to be pissed off." "I doubt that." He smiled. A dog barked. Robo looked down. A giant German shepherd stood beside him, wagging its tail. "You might as well come along," Robo told the dog. Misfits belong together. Robo carried Lewis towards the front gate. 2 turbo cruisers, sirens screaming, pulled up outside the steel yard. Starkweather, Ramirez, and 2 other cops jumped out. "Jesus H. Christ, Robo!" Starkweather exclaimed. Robo gently handed Lewis to Starkweather. "Get her to a hospital." He turned and walked towards the battered turbo cruiser sitting near the open bay doors of the pressing plant. The dog padded alongside him. Robo held the rider's side of the car open for the dog. He climbed in behind the wheel and, gunning the engine, raced by the 4 startled cops. He headed out of Old Detroit. He still had some unfinished business to attend to in the better section of town.